We'll be underway. I see someone else has arrived. So Lauren, if you want to talk, you can just talk from being an attendee, or if you want to join us as a panelist, then you can switch the video on. It'd be nice to see you if you feel like for it, or you can just use the chat box at the bottom. It's up to you really, how far you want to go with this. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen if I can find the right button. Let's have a look. Here we go. And you can adjust your webcams by clicking on the 3x3 little matrix at the top of it, and you can move them around and adjust them to the size you want. Okay, so I can see you guys. So, okay, so welcome to What is Divine Healing? It's a free healing webinar. I'm Nicolas David Ngan of the Centre for Conscious Ascension, and I'm looking forward to sharing this wonderful work with you. I'll say a few things for the guys who are not attending, just on one's coming to the YouTube channel cold. Sort of the intro, really. So, have you been trying for years to clear out your most challenging emotional separation programs? That was me about 15 years ago. And I'm feeling frustrated by how long it's been taking. I'd almost given up, actually. I'm starting to feel resigned that you're going to be stuck with them for the rest of your life. How many guys felt like that at some stage? That was me. Okay. So this free live group healing webinars is to give you a direct experience of divine healing. And divine healing is a multidimensional healing system which provides, in short, a very powerful healing tool that rapidly clears your emotional separation programs out of your system, so you forget they were ever there in the first place. That's how powerful it can be. And it enables you to heal deeply, completely, and easily, so you can become the empowered master of your life, who experiences more joy, love, fun, aliveness, and reconnection to spirit at all levels. So that's the essence of what we're going to talk about today. And I've been using this work since 2006. Now, Mira Ariel Hilaire, who used to run the Centre for Conscious Ascension with me, she developed this with two other colleagues, Mary Leomar Institute and with Rashada Mario. They developed this tool because we'd been looking for a tool to clear a lot of heavy-duty emotional separation we had. We were also married as well. And she'd been searching for all sorts of tools all over the world, and she couldn't find something that was strong enough, powerful enough to do what we wanted. So in the end, she developed it with the other two. And this was the beginning of the transformation of both of us enormously. We had an enormous amount of separation, which we felt trapped by. Well, I definitely felt trapped by it. And once I learned this technique, which comes from source, it's channeled from many different bodies of beings, angelics, extraterrestrials, Elohim, all sorts of beings in high dimensions, so we can return home in consciousness to source. So it's unusual that it doesn't come from one particular body of learning in the high dimensions, it comes from many. And it was time to bring this to Earth, to free humanity, free light workers, and so they could really awaken. All right, so this is how it came about. So I want to hear from you guys what brought you here, just so I got a feel what you need from this, and that sort of will guide me in the way we move forward with this. So, Lauren, what brought you here? Just I get a feel for it. Just say where you are and what brought you here.
Well, I'm in Washington State. I'm actually on the beautiful Whidbey Island right now, and I've done other types of body healing. I just had a session yesterday with a body worker I absolutely love, and she has told me about sort of like in the left, or no, on the right side of, like, in the heart area, which is like the releasing side of the body, that there's some energy that hasn't moved, that hasn't been released. It's kind of gotten blocked and stuck, and probably, could be some feelings of grief and
You have to come closer to the computer because you're fading, the microphone's fading a bit.
Start here. Let me try and take those out. The headphones haven't seemed to be working very well.
Oops. We just lost you there. Are you there? Vicky, do you want to say hi while we wait for Lauren to come back?
Hi, Nicolas. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I took the Divine Healing Level 1 last summer, and I have been using it very sort of intermittently, sporadically, and I did start doing some session shares with one other lady from my training group, but I was finding that quite challenging itself, and I've sort of paused that with the intention to do more practice sessions just on myself, with myself, but again, I just completely forget to do it. And I know you'll say you just need to do it, and I just seem to it just seems to go completely out of my world, and I don't remember to do it. And then I get an email from you with one of the group webinars, and I just thought, okay, great, perfect opportunity to connect with you, connect with the divine healing, and yeah, I mean, and interestingly, not surprisingly, since I booked onto this call the last couple of days, I feel like I've been experiencing really intense, I guess what you could call ascension symptoms, just some very strange goings on. So yeah, any healing is always welcome.
Okay, thank you. So Lauren, you have to say yes to becoming a panelist. I think you just done it. Yeah, to get the video on. Okay.
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 Yeah, I took the headphones out. It ended the call. But anyway, yes, feeling that stuff that could be held on to could be mine from this life and it's in the unconscious, or it really could be from past lives or ancestral things. So just sometimes interested in trying those different modalities and seeing what will get energy to move that other modalities won't get it to move. So
yeah, it's a bit of trial and error down here on Earth. You've got to try a bunch of stuff on to find out what works, and what works is different for everybody. So this is one modality, but we think it's pretty good. But
yeah,
see what you think. Yeah. Okay, Preston, what brought you here?
Thank you, Nicolas. Hello, everyone. Well, I've been trying all sorts of modalities, especially over the past 2 years, but really for the past 40 plus years. I'm 71 going on 72. And I learned transcendental meditation in my early 20s and more or less have kept that up. More recent years, I've been exploring, the Akashic records and work with mediums and so forth. My wife died 6 years ago after a 7-year illness, and it really left me paralyzed. And also during the time of her illness, and since then, I really took on a lot of alcohol. But I've been off alcohol now for 15 months, and I'm now running around, I would say, trying to find a modality that will give me some relief. I'm not sure what separation anxiety, what the separation pattern is that you described, but I've got as I think a anxiety bordering on terror pattern that I get into at times. I'm looking for I'm definitely looking for relief from that.
And where are you, Preston?
I'm in Switzerland.
Okay. Where are you from originally?
Australia.
Okay. Yeah.
Just across.
Sounded like down under. Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I say emotional separation, it's an emotional program that keeps you separate from higher consciousness. It keeps us feeling bad or anxious in your case, or whatever it is. That's what I mean by that. Everything that keeps us separate from God in a spiritual sense. Okay. That's what
Thank you.
I'm talking about there. Okay, so all right. Lauren Peterson.
Hi, I've been trying to heal myself for about 2 years.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with complex PTSD. I started making friends online who were in personal development and just trying to heal myself really. And someone that I know quite well recommended that I take a look at your website and doing the divine healing training. So I just wanted to come and join and learn a bit more.
Okay, all right. We do have some processes for trauma and divine healing, which maybe have helped you. So, all right. Anyone else want to say hi? Tara, have you finished with the kids? Do you want to come on? And are they still running around? Probably running around. Okay.
Hi.
Who's
Go over
that?
there.
Who's that? Which one's that?
Hi, that's my daughter Ella.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit loud over here, so that's why I wasn't able to share. But we just did the soul contract reading over. When was it? On St. Patrick's Day, I believe we had it, and just feeling like this. The description of the course just resonated with me so much, and feeling like I need it because I feel so stuck spiritually. You know, you make all this progress and then you just feel like you're put in a corner and you just want to keep going up and going up and going up. So really using this to help heal the detachment process for me from a lot of trauma as a child with my family. So I could be of service to others and heal myself and really feel closer to source and the knowledge that I have within myself to bring that out. And I just feel like this will be a perfect fit.
Okay, thank you. You can keep the video on, just keep the sound off. It's good to see you. Okay. Anyone else want to share who hasn't shared? Hang on, someone else is right. Pat. Oh, hi, Pat. Yeah, so Pat, if you want to be able to show the video, you just say yes to the becoming a panelist, but you can just message me if you want. It's fine as well. Okay. Right. Just checking to see. Yeah, everyone's had to say. Okay. Oh yeah, Vicky. So put a little post-its around the house, like on the bathroom mirror, on the front door, your bedroom door, say, if in process, do divine healing, because the ego is basically zoning you out, because divine healing is a hazard, serious hazard to its health. That's what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I literally had that thought. It's just before I even said that, because I realized that's what I have to do. I have to have a reminder so that I can't just completely forget. Yeah, because if the folder's shut, then you just put it to the side. Yeah.
I forget, and I've been teaching this for years, because if I'm onto something heavy duty, my ego zaps me out sometimes.
Yeah.
So I have it in places all over the house, and I go, oh yeah, I've got this amazing tool. Let's go and use it. So it happens to me as well.
Okay, it's good to know. Thanks, Nicolas.
Okay. All right. Let's everybody introduce themselves. Let's get into it then. So I'm going to share screen here a bit more and talk about, well, what is this thing? What is divine healing? So I'll move some of these little windows around. Okay, so this multidimensional tool is designed to start peeling your ego onion. So basically what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about the basics of it, how it works, so your minds are happy with that. Then we're going to do some. So you have a direct experience, then you know what it is. So it's designed to peel your ego onion, because inside you there's the soul, and the ego has built up all these many layers of red onion. In this case, this is the layers of emotional separation, Preston, that keeps us from fully expressing ourselves, fully connecting to higher consciousness. So divine healing involves alignment to the higher self, to peel these layers in the right order, as gracefully as possible, because the ego is pain averse and it doesn't like peeling anything. So this is a tool for peeling the layers, so you eventually get down to the pure love and consciousness that you actually are at soul level, so that it can express much more freely through you. Okay? That's essentially what we're going to do. So what happens here is that we're going to go gardening. It's going to be a bit wet, and we grow lotuses out of the mud of life, the emotional separation, all the dark stuff, all the shadow, all the things that our ego does not want to look at. But we're going to bring consciousness to the mud. We're going to dive into the mud with divine healing. And by bringing consciousness to it, we grow the good things in life, because out of our separation programs come our gifts. Okay? So we're using a Buddhist model where everything is one, rather than the sort of normal Western Judeo-Christian good and evil polarity consciousness. Mud bad, lotus good. We're not saying that at all, which is a change of state. Okay. And feel free to ask any questions as we go through. Just sort of wave at me if you're on screen, or if you're not on screen, just switch your mic on and say your name, just so I know you're there if you have a question. So, how did we get here? How did this happen? How do we land in these bodies and feel this separate from God and have a lot of challenging situations, and often, for most people, a lot of pain at some stage in life? Well, here's how it started. Here we have Source, all that is, God in the spiritual sense, not the religious sense. And it's sitting on the 12th dimension. And so how did we get down to the 3rd dimension in our little earth suits? How did this happen? And how did we feel so separate from Source? Well, Source wanted to know itself. So rather than thinking about it, which it did for a long time, what it did is it created an out-breath. And it densified itself gradually to the 11th dimension, 10th dimension, all the way down to the 5th, 4th. This is the astral plane. This is the place where people go to in the tunnel of light you see in the movies. Okay. And so it differentiated itself into an infinite number of parts, until it got to the point where there's one of those parts in each of us called the soul. There's a spark of God in us. But we forgot. And it created this ego personality, little ego personality here. Okay, this is Tara in Florida. Okay. All right, Preston in Switzerland. And our little ego personalities forgot where we came from. So we feel, and we can't connect to it initially when we are first born, because we have this interference zone here. At the lower end of the astral plane, a lot of astral energies are preventing us. Okay. So preventing us from getting back to God. And so the purpose of divine healing is to cut a pathway back to God. All right. So Maggie, if you want to join us, you got your sound now. So if you want to join us, just click on the little window that will come up now saying promote the panelists. Then you can switch your video on if you want. It's completely optional, or and you can actually talk to me now if you want, even from where you are. Okay. So the idea with divine healing is to open a pathway through this astral interference and rise in consciousness to connect back to God. Okay. So that's what divine healing is all about, because connecting to high consciousness allows us aligning to higher self, higher consciousness, allows us to peel our ego onion over here. And the more you can peel your ego onion, the more high consciousness will embody, the better your life's going to get. Because if you try to do everything from the little ego, life's pretty challenging because it doesn't really get it right most of the time, as you've noticed. Okay, so what are these separation programs that I was talking about? Well, there are three. So when you pop out of your mother and you're born and we separate from God, our ego has an immediate response. First, it feels abandoned by God. Got dropped on the third rock from the sun. God abandoned me, therefore I don't feel worthy to be loved by God. I've landed in this earth plane and I don't trust God. So those are three core programs we all have, and some combination of these, and unique combination of these three primary separation programs creates our ego personality. And for those of you familiar with the soul contract work, that explains the whole ego construct, what's created. So what do we do about it? Which is why you're here. Here's what you can do about it. Most people on Earth avoid it. That's 98% of people. Avoid feeling their separation program. So life doesn't progress very fast, and it is painful. As light workers, we want to do our work, but our ego goes and judges its own programs, and it feels bad about it. And that just makes the programs embed and stay in there more strongly. All right? We all have a lot of judgment. I'm a Virgo, so I still have a lot of self-judgment and judgment of others, even though I'm not aware of it until someone tells me. So I still got lots of work to do. And, or we can take the third path, which is what divine healing is all about. It's about, rather than judging it and pushing it away and feeling bad or avoiding the program, we turn to it, towards it, and resonate and own it. And we bring feeling consciousness to it, which is the last thing the ego wants you to do, because that means it's pain that's going to come up for a while. And we find the origin. Where does that come from? So we're bringing consciousness to the whole thing. And this is the beginning of peeling your first layer of the ego onion. And this is the beginning of change, creating change for a better life. So let me just have a drink. I'm doing a lot of talking here. So, how do you change your life? These are the requirements for healing. You all clearly have a willingness and desire and courage to do that, because you wouldn't be here today. So that focus is the key. I'm going to change my color here. Go through this. No one's colorblind. Yeah. That allows us to bring focus on identifying the issue. This is the emotional issue in red, which is causing us pain. And we bring our feeling consciousness here to it, and we expand it with this blue energy. And so what we're doing is that the aim here is to expand, breathe into the feeling, which our ego may have never done, because it's been in so much avoidance of the program. And the idea is to feel as much of it as we can. Because what you feel, you can heal. And the ego is onto us, it doesn't really want us to do that. So what it does is that it creates this. It puts a layer of, it numbs us out, this like emotional ice here. Okay. And it buries the issue, so we can't actually bring our consciousness in here, because what you can't feel, you can't heal. And in the West, we've learned to control our emotions with the prefrontal cortex. So we sort of, you know how sometimes people say, I think I feel this, it means this prefrontal cortex is cut in, because ego doesn't want us to feel this stuff, because it basically means it's the end of some of this programming, because it believes it has to hang on to them. That's the nature of coming to Earth. You need to feel separate from God. So what happens here with divine healing, going to make some adjustments. What happens here, when we allow ourselves to feel, the energy starts to shift. And when we work in a group, which is what we do in the training, we hold each other. Then what happens is that we can start to break through the defense mechanisms of the ego with grace and ease. We don't force it, just gently it opens. Because as we start to let go of our judgment of ourselves and feeling bad about our programs, the defense mechanisms start to unlock and we can get in there. Because it was actually our judgment and our feeling bad, which actually held it in place. So we're getting into a positive feedback loop here. So we can start to bring this feeling consciousness into here, and we start to dissolve the program. So we get a release, something lets go and shifts, and then we need to integrate that. So often the shift is so powerful that the program is gone completely, and sometimes a lot of the times people don't even remember what the program was if they bring maximum feeling consciousness to it. That's how powerful this can be. So what happens here, divine healing, is that we move from a place of our little ego thinking it knows everything. And as we grow in consciousness on the spiritual journey, we expand our consciousness into the vastness of spirit. We start to move from following the ego, which is the path of suffering, according to the Buddha. So this dotted line down here where the mind, especially the left brain, is in charge, and it does a bunch of stuff programmed into it, which doesn't make us too happy. And the effect of divine healing is to shift us to the solid line here, which is following the spiritual signature, the path of bliss, open to the flow of abundance, open to the flow of life in general. So what does the spiritual signature mean? It means in each moment, there's one right action, and that's the action that opens the heart in each moment. And if you gradually converge on this, now that you're aware of it, because we go conscious and unconscious, so this is becoming more conscious, we're converging on the spiritual signature, and this is where we're diverging. As we converge on this, we follow it more and more, life starts to open and flow, because we're feeling more. As we clear our emotional separation programs, we start to feel in our body what is right, because our soul's using our physical sensations to tell us what's the next right action, and our heart will open, our body will open to the next right action. It will close something which is not in alignment with where the soul wants to go. So the more you clear with divine healing or any healing modality, the more you will align and the more your life will open. So solutions to seemingly insurmountable life situations, which we all face at some stage, and often a series of them, they will come by following the heart, because there is a solution, because there's a plan from the higher self to have certain experiences so that we can break through them. Some of them are pretty challenging, and some of you already related. And so there's a pathway through to moving to this path of bliss, open to the flow of life in general. Okay, and that's what divine healing does. I used to plan everything I did in this business. I've been doing it for 25 years full time. When I first left to corporate world, I had a big spreadsheet. I wrote it all out. My left brain worked it all out, and half the time it didn't work. And as I started doing divine healing, and Amira was teaching me to follow the spiritual signature, I was following the feeling in my body rather than what my left overdeveloped left brain was doing. A lot more things started working. So I realized there was something to this, following the signature. I didn't believe it at first when she was explaining it to me. There's definitely something to it, because life is meant to be open, and it's meant to flow, it's meant to work, but we just need to approach it in a different way, not from the Western scientific approach of trying to understand it all and make it all happen, but about letting go into the body, feeling from the heart, feeling all our physical sensations, which is the soul talking to us, listening to the soul, flowing with it, and that's when life will actually start to happen. Okay, so, right. Any questions on that? That's just sort of a brief overview before we go and have a bit of practice. Does that make sense? Put it in the chat. No one's looking. No one's glazed over. Not too glazed over. No. Okay. Well, in that case, we'll get on. Tara, you got a question?
Yes. When you say ask spirit to start to move energy, is there? How do you? Is that just through meditation and sitting with yourself and kindly, respectfully asking? Like, how would you recommend that?
Can you be more specific? What did I actually say? Just so I catch.
I'm sorry. What was that?
What did I actually say exactly? Just
it was in your in the little photo you had. It was asking spirit to start to move the energy around, because what you can't feel, you can't heal. So
okay.
I'm just, yeah.
So what are you asking about that process? What
How do you ask? Do you just literally ask, like, I have this dense energy inside of me. Can you please help me move this energy so I can start to heal? Is it just what you feel comfortable with?
Okay, no. With divine healing, we have a manual which has very specific, what we call command codes, because you are a spark of the divine, and we initially align you to higher consciousness, to higher self, part of you in the 5th and 6th dimensions, which knows how you're built. It built you. It designed you. All right. We align to that, and and it's based on the principle of ask and you shall receive. So we do asking in a very specific structured way, depending on the issues that you're working on. So in divine healing, we have 26 charts we use in the manual. We'll show you it. Let me get on to this. Gotta find the manual. So there's a chart here. This is the Divine Healing 1 manual. It's about empowering yourself. We call it Master Key to Ascension, because it's about ascending in consciousness. Okay. And what happens is that here we have 26 channel charts. Came through Almira and the two others, Mary and Roshan. And the higher self will pick a chart, and then we will use that chart. Say, pick this one here. We're going to go and do this in a minute. So main low frequency programs. There's all sorts of programs that we channel through, and they all work together. So the higher self will teach you how to use these charts. It will say, okay, Tara, I want you to go to main low frequency programs, and I want you to pick a number 1 to 21. So we got 5, and pick a.
You said pick a number from 1 to 21?
1 to 21, yeah. So you ask the higher self, you pick a number 1 to 21, and we teach you how to do this. It's called number mapping. And the higher self will drop a number into your consciousness, say 5. And then we pick another number 1 to 4. So we get 3, it's excess. And that'll be the program the higher self wants you to work on. Okay. And so we bring feeling consciousness to that program of excess, if that was the case for you, by, hang on, I'll get down to this one. Doing this process here, bring feeling consciousness to it. And when you felt as much as possible, what happens then is that we go to the bottom of a chart, and there are things called command codes down here. And once you've felt it, we do these command codes. We're going to actually do this chart very shortly. We do these command codes, and you'll experience them, and that will remove the excess, whatever that program is. So we first diagnose what's going on, bring consciousness to it, then we ask the higher self to clean it out. Then that layer of the onion will be gone. And then we go back, pick another chart. Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to get a grip on this cursor. And then we go back here and we pick another chart. And you might get, say 10 judgments and beliefs. And we'll go into that chart, pick a judgment and belief, bring consciousness to it, do a command code, ask the higher self to clear that. So you just get, the higher self will design a session to go around all the right charts for what you need to work on in this moment. That's a core principle of divine healing. It's asking, you shall receive. So the higher self directing you to which one to work on. You bring consciousness to it. You ask it to be cleared, the higher self will clear it. And then that layer's gone. So basically what you're doing is you're going through this onion. Get back to my onion. Getting through this onion and you're cleaning it out in the right order. Going from the outside in. And your higher self knows the order you need to work in because each outer layer locks in the inner layers in specific ways. So this is how it works. So it's a very clean, powerful way of healing with grace and ease, often some very complex issues. And things your mind will never ever find. But the higher self knows exactly where everything is. And once you bring consciousness to it, you realize this is all true. But you weren't aware of it. It was so subconscious, so unconscious the way the program was working. So it digs out all the hidden stuff. Okay. And then life gets better. How does that sound, Tara? You have to unmute if you want to talk. Yeah.
No, I just thank you for explaining that. That makes sense.
Okay. Any other questions, anybody, before we have a go?
Yes, please, Nicolas. Yes. You know, you mentioned scientific Western mind and how it goes bad. You know, I've had 50 years of working in the Western scientific and engineering and management.
Yeah.
And what I've seen is that intuition can go bad just as often as Western scientific thinking. What I'm seeking to do is, yes, in clearing my separation programs and connecting with source, I want to be contributing in the real world where science and engineering and management is absolutely essential. Otherwise, we wouldn't have Zoom, for example. So I just want to clarify that I'm assuming that you don't suggest I give up the ability to think logically and empirically.
Oh, no, not at all. Well, I used to be in the space industry before this. I did this very scientific launching very expensive pieces of metal into space. That's what I used to do. Okay. So I'm very familiar with that world. I worked at that in a very high level. So what I'm saying is that there's an undeveloped side in most Westerners where we're moving to the right brain. It's not just going left brain in the scientific approach. It all has its place, but to do this sort of work, we need to move into the right feminine side of us and go into the feeling space, the feeling intuitive, unbounded space, to clear a lot of things deep in us, which are very unconscious, because that's the space where we can feel in our body, the soul, and that will give us the answers we seek. Approaching it with the left brain doesn't work. There's a limit on how far you can go, because it's like the ego is trying to stand on its own shoulders to heal itself. So we have to go to spirit. We have to have an external, well, ultimately it's not external, it's a part of us at a higher level to guide us to actually clear these programs. And we align to the higher self, so we don't get any bad intuition, we minimize it. So we're very clear and aligned. So the answers we get are very usually true. And if they're not, if it goes off, it just means there's some energy interference, usually from the astral plane, blocking the connection. So you got a bad line basically. So we got to clean up the line. Does that help?
Okay. I'll just note that I've explored a lot in the anti-scientific realms, and it's a world of superstition. You know, the application of fake false causes to fake false outcomes. So I'm just saying I'm looking for a way to work to combine both modalities?
Yeah, well, our Mara who developed this, she was a top medical doctor before she got into this, but she wanted something that was faster than medicine. She was realizing it was just too slow to create change that her patient needed. So you have a doctor and a space scientist, basically. Well, you know.
Okay, I just look at the world without Western science, and they live in puddles. You know, you get my drift.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we definitely need Western science. We wouldn't have the world we have, but I'm saying for this inner journey, it requires moving to the left feminine, the right feminine brain, the feeling side of us, which is usually undeveloped in most Westerners, just for the nature of our the scientific rational culture we've had for hundreds of years, which has created it in the first place. So it's about moving to a place of balance, really. So I'm not putting it down, I'm just saying it's not going to work purely because
No, with him.
It's just not going to work purely by itself, coming from a scientific approach.
Right, and neither does the anti-scientific approach, as I say. So I'm happy to let it be for now.
Yeah. Okay, so anyone else got any comments or questions? Because otherwise we're going to have a direct experience of it. No? Okay, so we'll do that. So what I want you guys to do is close your eyes, and we are going to clear a layer of energy interference, that big red line I showed you initially in the astral plane. We are going to clear a layer of that so that you have a better connection to your higher consciousness. I'm gonna break a hole in this thing. Here we're gonna break a hole to higher consciousness so we're aligned for the work. Okay, so I'll be doing this quietly, but I want you just to breathe through your mouths so we feel in the body, because the mind will try and close your mouth and have you breathe through the nose, so it'll stay in the left brain, so it tries to understand it. But I want you to breathe through the mouth and breathe deep into your lungs, the lower part of your abdomen. That'll take you to the feeling side of you, which is the fuel for divine healing. Okay. So I've already aligned you guys at the beginning prior to us starting. Okay. So I want you to breathe and just feel what happens. So the first thing I'm going to release quietly are what we call earthbound souls. These are beings who have left a physical body and they've attached to you because you're carrying a similar issue. And they often reinforce negative programs in us so that they can feed off and the negative emotions that come out of us when we're exposed to those programs. Okay, so I'll just be doing this quietly. I want you just to be present with yourself. Have your feet flat on the ground. If you can feel the ground, take your shoes off if you need to. It helps. Here we go. So we're going to do this quietly. If you feel the shift, these beings are now going over a tunnel of light into the astral plane looping around you. So it's very important to keep your mouth open and breathe here. The next thing we're going to release are what we call extraterrestrial presences. They're in the high dimensions and they're very curious about us because the emotional soup on Earth is very extreme and polarized, and a lot of them come in to understand how human emotions work, because a lot of them have lost that ability to really feel such a wide range of emotions. But the very act of observing us changes the outcome. It's the law of relativity. So I'm going to shift some of these guys as well. Nothing to worry about with them. Okay, these beings are leaving now. Just feel the shift, feel gratitude for them leaving. now we're going to remove discarnates, entities, and attachments. A whole bunch of beings on the lower astral plane who are hanging out with us. Okay, they can feed off our energy. They can create certain negative karmic experiences. So we're going to remove a whole bunch of them. Feel a shift from that. That integrate. Just let that integrate and just open your eyes when you're ready. Just take your time. Okay. So I just want to have a check and see how you guys are doing to let that integrate. Who would like to share how that felt in your body and your energy fields? Vicky, how'd that feel?
Yeah, I was just feeling more and more relaxed, and then yawning a lot, feeling the releases. So yeah, eye streaming, just feeling a lot calmer and my anxiety kind of lifting.
Yeah. Yeah, the yawning is a lot of negative energy leaving the body. So, okay, anyone else want to share how that was? Even on the chat. Okay, Pat said to me, something shifting in the heart chakra. Okay, thanks, Pat. Preston.
I just got a lot of chatter in my thoughts.
Yeah.
I follow along, and I'm open to the possibilities of what you're presenting. And along with that, I just get a lot of chatter with me chattering away to myself.
Yeah, it's just the ego going out for a bit of a run. That's fine. Okay. Anyone else want to share? Okay. Lauren, how was that? Oh, you come back.
Lots of yawning for me as well. Lots of yawning, and just feeling for me, I often feel the vibration in my crown chakra and third eye chakra. So that vibration around the head as well.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. We'll keep going. So we're going to do some main low frequency programs now, which we all carry. Okay, and let me just find the screen. I'm going to share the screen here. Okay, so all right, so this is a diagnostic chart really to work out what's actually going on. So what I want you to do is close your eyes. I'm going to say pick a number, and then whatever number drops in your head first is the correct number. And I want you to write that down or just remember it. Okay, the very first number that comes in your head. Anything after that is the ego messing with you. Okay, so pick a number 1 to 21. Right, write that down. Note it down. And then those of you who got numbers between 1 and let's have a look. Those who got numbers in this top half of the table, some of these numbers go below. look at how many there are. For example, okay, if you got a 6, okay, close your eyes again and pick a number 1 to 8. And write that down. If you got 15, you pick a number between 1 and 12. So you get 7, write that down. This is the state of being you're in, okay? I'll let you guys who've got this top half of the table, so anything above the blue line at the bottom here. I'll scroll down for the rest of it in a minute. Okay. I'll draw that line again. Like that. Anything above there, if you've got that, you can pick your other number. And when you're picking the number, it's important not to look at these, just look at the pink stuff. Otherwise your mind can say, well, I'm not judgmental, or I'm not lying, or whatever. That's just the program, because the ego doesn't want to own its programs. Okay, so you close your eyes and you pick the next number. Actually, yeah, everyone knows how many they're meant to pick from, okay? Just close your eyes. Look at the maximum number, which is the second one here. Okay, when you're ready, close your eyes. So which one number did you get, Lauren Peterson?
I got 12 and then I got 7.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll get to that
For
in a minute.
the 1 to 8.
Yeah, so you got your 7 there is, let's try and get down to it, is miserable. Okay, that's the program in the ego. Ego is a third party. It's just the thing which we got to deal with by being in a body. Okay, so pick your other number.
Thank you.
For everybody. Okay, and then we'll go down for the guys who have numbers below. Okay, so you've got any of these guys here. And have a look at, don't read the text, just look at the pink stuff. Okay, so from 3, 7, all these ways, 18 may not work because it's flowing to the next page. But all these ones in here, look at the pink number and pick one. Close your eyes and pick a number. The highest up will give you that number. All right. Go to the bottom. And for the rest of them here, if you had 18, okay, 18, 20 or 21, 18 flows to the next column here. Pick your number there and write it down. Okay, Maggie, where you see the numbers on the screen, where there's a gap in the numbers in the first column, so you got 18 here. Okay, I'll try and zoom this up a little bit for you. Yeah. Find the right cursor here. Whoops, it's a bit too big. It's a bit sensitive, this thing. Okay, that's the best I can do. On Zoom, you can actually zoom up as well. If you, where is it? I think there's a function here. Where is it? I can't see it on my one, but there should be a function near the top on the, if you run your mouse over the very top middle of your screen, there should be a function where you can change the magnification, maybe. Okay. All right. All right, so now we bring consciousness to the program. That's what we're doing here. Okay. All right, so we're going to just gotta, basically what we're doing here is I want you to close your eyes and breathe into the feeling of that program you've just discovered. To see what it triggers in you. Sometimes it's not going to be exactly spot on, it's going to be close to something. Just become aware of how that program operates in your life. Be very honest with yourself. without going into a big story here. Just feel that, feel whatever comes up, because this is about bringing consciousness to the program. Okay? This will often find stuff which our ego doesn't want us to get to, very deeply subconscious stuff. You breathe through your mouth into that program. So you're breathing into the red, big red dot. Okay. Just be aware of how that operates. So you're turning towards it rather than away from it for a change. And open to all aspects of the feeling that comes up. It may not be pleasant, but it'll be a lot better in a little while. Because feeling it's the key to changing it. You're feeling anxiety, feel that, whatever it is. Be okay with whatever comes up. There's no right way to do this. It just is whatever comes up. Become aware of any attachment the ego has to hanging on to this main low frequency program. That's what's binding it to you. Any feelings of being bad for having it, it also binds it to you. And all judgment around it. The more you can open to it, the more it can integrate and heal. And remember to breathe your awareness into all aspects of the big red dot of the feeling, places you've never been before. So only go as far as you feel comfortable. Don't strain it. Because the more you can feel, the deeper the healing. And if you need to cry or yawn, it's fine. Okay. The more emotion you feel, the deeper you're going to go into this. Okay. So now we're going to do the ask and you shall receive bit. We're going to ask the higher self, higher consciousness to help us. All right. Okay. So we're going to do this in bite-sized chunks. So you can look at the screen here. There's a command code we're going to do. This is asking the higher self now. So I'm going to use Saint Germain, an ascended master. He uses the pebble plane to clean the stuff out of our system. So I'm going to give it to you in bite-sized chunks. So when you say this, this is not just words. You're a spark of the divine commanding something to happen. Okay. You know, they say in the Bible, in the beginning, there was the word, it was the sound of God. Sound is creative, so you must mean it when you say it. Okay? You must really mean it, be present and grounded with what you're about to say, because the more present and grounded you are, the stronger the effect will be. If you repeat after each, everyone put their microphones on, so you can hear each other. Let's open to that. Okay, if the kids get too noisy, Tara, you can turn it off, but it's going to be okay at the moment. Okay. So, we are Saint Germain.
We are
Saint
Germain
To pour the purple flame.
to pour the purple flame
Through the aura and subtle bodies.
Through the aura and subtle
into
bodies.
the aura and subtle bodies.
Burn away all low frequency energies.
Burn away all low frequency energies
That we have discovered.
We have
that we have discovered.
So that new higher level vibrations
So that
new higher level
vibrations
can be accessed.
can be
can be
can be
accessed.
accessed.
Saint Germain and higher self,
Saint Germain
Saint
Germain
Germain
and
and higher self,
please burn out in one go.
Please burn out.
Please
burn out in one go.
100% the core issue.
100%.
100% core issue
through all levels and dimensions.
through all levels and dimensions.
Pause to let that happen. The energy sort of busy and that clears out. 100% the original cause through all levels and dimensions.
100%
the cause
through all levels
through all
and
levels and
dimensions.
Through all levels and dimensions.
100% the source of its power.
100%
100% the source of its power.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through all levels and dimensions.
100% all energy attached.
100% all
energy
energy
attached.
Through all levels and dimensions.
All
through
levels.
all levels and dimensions.
100% all of its effects.
100% all of its effects.
All its effects
Through all levels and dimensions.
through all levels and
Through all
dimensions.
levels and dimensions.
Close your eyes and just let that leave. Then we say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because gratitude opens a connection to source, which brings in grace and things can just shift then. Magic happens. You feel a shift there. So how are you guys feeling? Just a little check-in into group. Well, Vicky, how are you feeling?
Yeah, from literally 30 seconds after locating the program, I just started feeling really sad and really emotional, and then I just started crying, and then I've just been crying ever since until we started doing the command code. So yeah, it was a really deep one actually. I just went with it and just was just crying it through. Yeah. Mm.
Okay. Anyone else want to share how that was? Yep, Preston.
I just have tremendous racing of the mind, of thoughts extraneous to being right here. You know, I follow it. I sort of get the idea for sure. But I've got a jitteriness and an agitation that take me away from being fully here.
Yeah, it's natural for the ego to do that. It's like meditation. It's trying to distract you from getting to the important stuff, especially because you're noticing it now, because it doesn't want you to get to the programs. But what we're doing is consciously, it's really our soul driving us forward, bringing consciousness to things which the ego wants to keep secret and hidden. That's what's going on. Especially you noticed it quite distinctly then, I think, didn't you? Sort of said it.
Okay.
You notice it quite distinctly.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. So you can see how it works. It's trying to defend itself. That's what it's doing. But we're trying to, with love, dismantle it. That's what we're trying to do, so that you don't have to put up with so much pain. That's what we're doing. Anyone else want to share how that was? Lauren, you're unmuted. Do you want to say something? Or?
Oh no, go ahead.
Sorry,
sorry.
Lauren Peterson first, then we'll get to Lauren O'Malley. Okay.
That was really good. Thank you. I was surprised by how fast I calmed down after we said the command codes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, you went into process very deeply. You felt it. You felt the program, so it's going to make you cry. You're going to feel stuff. That's great. You notice when you say the command code, it's gone.
Yeah.
It leaves quick because you have brought feeling consciousness to it. And that's all the soul wants you to do. It wants to feel the emotion or the program or whatever it is, move through it and then move forward. Because the reason it comes in the body is to feel emotions very strongly. We feel them much more strongly than when we're in the higher dimensions. That's why we come here. You might think, I must have been crazy. Well, most of us do at some stage, but this is a strong, very powerful learning, school of learning for the souls on earth. Yeah. Okay. All right, Lauren O'Malley. on the other
The
side.
double Laurens.
Yeah, that hasn't happened before. So
I didn't feel as much on the physically when we were saying the codes, I think just because of trying to kind of do the call and answer. But when I looked at what number I had sort of had come to me, 15-9, and I looked and that said poor, and I have been unemployed, and in my tarot cards recently, I've been pulling the 5 of Pentacles for people who know tarot, which is a lot of that like lack mindset. And so when I was thinking of that and we were sort of sitting with that, I was feeling a lot of pressure in my ears, which is certainly something I feel a lot when I have spirit around me and moving. So I had that going on. So I hope to feel that more release coming soon.
yeah, there is what comes out, but
Yeah.
it's cumulative. Sometimes you do a chart, it's very gentle, then a couple of gentle ones, and suddenly a massive thing releases, but you needed the first 2 to get the last thing out.
Yeah.
So it's not always dramatic or anything like that, but some of you are having quite strong experiences. Okay, so Maggie has said, I felt very hot and tingling in my left hand. That's the cellular release of the program, Maggie. And Pat has said, the ego is scrappy and not going down without a fight. Too true. Too true. But it's met its match with this if you're persistent. Okay. Anyone else want to share? We'll move on. Tara, how are you doing?
It was hard to concentrate with the kids in the background.
Yeah.
So I tried. I was able to pick one number, and then it just all got very chaotic here. But during that process, it was extremely emotional, and I'm not sure if it's from what I picked or from the chaos and just not being able to just have a moment to focus. But I feel a lot more relaxed right now.
Yeah. Well, I think the program coming out triggered the chaos.
Yeah.
Because part of the ego's defense is that it doesn't want you to feel it. So rather than a noise in your head, it was a noise externally. This is what can go on.
Insane.
Yeah. But the fact you feel better tells you were onto the right program in that moment.
Yeah.
All right. So next, let's get to the next thing. Okay, we're going to go to clearing past life issues behind whatever program you guys have been feeling. So 70-80% of what we deal with is from unresolved issues in our past lives. So we're going to go to the past life chart here. Just got to get to it. Oops, I've gone too far. The P chart. Here it is. It's called the past life death chart, but we're going to do a variation on this. Okay, we're not going to actually pick the type of death because we're not actually going to clear past life death. I'm going to do a slight variation on it to clear the past lives that created the feeling that you just cleared, the main low frequency program. Okay. So I want you to close your eyes. All right. And breathing through your mouth. Just connect with the past life. Imagine there's like a white threads of energy going from your consciousness out your physical back into what's called a time-space continuum. And it's going back to the past lives which fed into this life, which created that feeling you just cleared with the main low frequency program. Your higher self will show you, or you'll feel it, you'll see it, we have a sense of it. Because this is actually what created it. Breathe into those lives. You may see them, feel them. They may be very subtle or maybe quite explicit, somewhere in between in your consciousness. Be aware of how many there are, because often we repeat the same thing in past lives many times. Breathe into it, bring consciousness to it, and then we're going to clear it. Excuse me. Okay. Now open your eyes. We're going to do this command code together. Because you're in charge here. We're going to change traumatic deaths to traumatic lives, okay? right, so being aware, staying aware of those lives. Repeat after me in bite-sized chunks. Microphone's on. Okay. Higher self, please clear, heal, and integrate.
Higher self, please clear, heal, and integrate
All these files and memories,
All these files,
all these files and memories,
including all cellular memories,
including all cellular memories,
the DNA and the subatomic levels.
the DNA and the subatomic levels.
I am now ready to heal
I am now ready to heal
all traumatic lifetimes
all traumatic lifetimes
at all levels and dimensions,
at all levels and dimensions,
or time frames, realities, and universes.
all time frames, realities, and universes.
Okay, so just pause there, keep your eyes, just close your eyes now, just let that layer leave. Okay. Next line. I command that any soul fragments
I command
that any soul fragments
held with these memories
held with these
held
memories
with these memories
are now returned to me fully whole and intact.
are
now
now
return to me fully whole and intact.
As appropriate,
As appropriate.
I welcome these soul fragments back.
I welcome these soul fragments back.
I command that the whole holographic matrix
I command that the whole
holographic
holographic
matrix
be repaired through all layers and levels.
be repaired through all layers
and levels,
Being brought into full alignment,
and then brought
and
into
brought
and then
into
brought
full
into full
alignment,
alignment,
integration, and balance
integration.
integration and
and
balance,
to allow for wholeness to emerge.
to
allow for
allow for
wholeness to
wholeness
emerge.
to emerge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just embrace the shift.
Thank you.
All right, so we've done some deep clearing here. So when you dismantle the ego like this, we need to be loving and gentle with it. And so we actually do what we call an integration jar. Okay, in this case, we're going to do what's called a nutrition jar. It's energetic nutrition, which is going to integrate it, and you'll feel a little better. Otherwise, you can feel a bit dismantled, like things are dismantling, and they're going a bit unstable. This can happen. So this is going to stabilize you. Okay. So what I want you to do is pick a number 1 to 4, whatever comes to you, rather than A to D. Write it down. The highest level will give you that number. Okay. Then, if you've got A or B, amino acids or essential fatty acids, pick a number 1 to 25 for amino acids, 1 to 19 for essential fatty acids. Okay, I'll get to the other 2 below in a sec. And write down which one it is. Pick a number, if it's 25, it's 17, it's ornithine. You don't have to know what it does. It'll still work.
Nicolas, can I just check? I picked a number, so it was 1A and B is 2. Is that?
Yeah, 1 is A, B is 2. Yeah. Yeah, just so it's easy to pick. The mind can handle numbers much better than letters. Okay. All right. And you don't even have to be able to pronounce some of these. Okay. So for the guys who got 3 and 4, or C and D, you've got minerals or vitamins. Minerals pick a number 1 to 21. Vitamins pick a number 1 to 26. And so what we're doing here is that we're going to command the higher self to infuse the frequency of that physical nutrition. So every form of nutrition has a frequency to it, okay? And that frequency is going to be the perfect frequency to integrate what's going on. It's very good for bypassing the conscious mind, which is obviously trying to stop us doing this. It's a frequency which will bypass the mind and will just integrate things nicely from what we've just done. Okay. Right, so we go to the top of the command codes. We found out through the higher self what we actually need to work with frequency-wise. And so everyone's mic's on. We're going to do this command code here. Let me just get the my pen. And this command code here. All right. And just because you place your intention on the nutrition, it sits in what we call the divine healing stack. It's just sitting there waiting to go. Repeat after me in bite-sized chunks. Higher self, please encode this nutrient.
Higher
Higher
self.
self, please encode this nutrient
In the perfect balance that is required.
In the
in the
perfect
perfect balance that is required,
And clear and align all pathways.
and
clear and align all pathways
For maximum assimilation, absorption, and utilization.
for maximum
assimilation,
absorption, and utilization.
Keep your eyes closed. That's going to come in. Often it comes in through the crown chakra, like a waveform. It's going to go through your entire body. It'll go to wherever it needs to go. Your body might want to move. My body sort of wants to shake around a little bit. That's fine. Or yawn. I want to yawn. Burping's okay as well. Some people burp. Just the energy shifting. This is always more powerful when you do it as a group, this sort of work. Okay, so you can just take a few deep breaths and open your eyes when you're ready. We'll have a little check-in. So we're finished for the having the direct experience now. It's plenty for this. So if you watch the video later, the guys here live and the guys watching it later on, it contains the same transmission. So if you want, I discovered people watching the videos dozens of times to clear their stuff. It's saying it was more powerful than anything that ever done before. So you can use it as a self-healing tool for different issues. So it's quite strong. But obviously don't do it in the car. You need to be sort of sitting like this, and you'll be in an altered state otherwise. Okay. So how was that, Tara?
I had serious pressure here.
Yeah.
I was squinting because it just felt like an immense amount of pressure here.
Yeah. Yeah, something was coming out. Something was letting go.
Yeah, and then I felt, I don't know if your screen changed, but while my eyes were closed, it was just like it felt like something, even though my eyes are closed, it felt like something just was like dark over, I don't know, maybe it was your screen, but I just felt an immense amount of pressure.
Yeah, I think you had something leaving your fields and your physical body there. Yeah. Who else would like to share how that was? Vicky?
Yeah, I really felt that coming in, and it was like it was actually like a breeze into my crown chakra, and then it was literally a wave where I was kind of bobbing on it, and it kept going for quite a long time. So yeah, that was quite a big integration. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lauren Peterson. I'll get Lawrence right now. You'll be out next, Preston.
Yeah, I felt it in my head, and I felt it come through. It felt like it was coming through the heart, but at the back as well.
Yeah.
But that was really good. Thank you.
Okay. You're smiling more than when we started.
Yeah.
Preston.
Yes, well, for the past lives and for the nutrients, I felt a lot calmer during those two segments than for the earlier ones.
Yeah, I think it was probably a strong past life thing driving what you've been feeling in the first, at the beginning. Yeah. Okay. Lauren O'Malley, there you go.
Yes, it was so interesting. As soon as we said DNA, like I felt the pressure in my ears, and then I was feeling that often as well. And so yeah, definitely can tell there was some past life stuff that was needed to let go.
Yeah. Okay. And Maggie said I had amazing energies from the chat. Coming to my crown chakra, filling my head, then going down into my stomach, feeling very hot. Yeah, that means you're having a strong cellular release, Maggie. You go hot. If you get cold coming out, that means shock's coming out of the body. And sometimes you get hot and cold simultaneously. Because everything you've ever experienced is in your cells until you get it out. It stays there forever. It imprints in the water there, it just stays in. And we're just basically cleaning all the stuff out layer by layer. Okay, so right, so let's get back to the screen share. All right. So, any questions? Anyone got any questions about it? Oh, there wasn't another one. That was just this one. Yeah. Any questions from anyone about what they experienced or about divine healing in general? Vicky?
Yes, my question is about sort of resolving past life connections with people who are in your life now.
Yeah.
Using divine healing, is it enough to work on myself to resolve those energies, those dynamics, or will I need to contact their higher self perhaps, because I don't feel it's going to be something I can actually resolve in a human way with them in this lifetime. So it's, I mean, is working on myself on these issues enough to heal that?
It can be in some cases. Sometimes though, you need to work with the other person's higher self, or even if they're open to it, working with them directly. Sometimes it takes two to clear something, especially if it's very disempowering, something old. You need someone to work on that past life interaction between the two of you.
Okay.
Just depends what the situation is, really.
Okay.
Yeah. But usually for these sort of things, if you get to the crux of the issue, what went on, and you clear it, then the whole thing in this lifetime unravels and you don't have the issue anymore. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions on that? Okay, Karen Peterson, getting the hang of us. Lauren Peterson, sorry.
I'm planning to do the level 1 training with you.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you about there's a couple of things going on that make me a little bit worried that being in your group in June might, I'm sorry. Okay. I don't want to mess up the energy of the group by joining it, and then if the anxiety is too much or something like that, I don't want to. I need to do the training, but I'm worried about whether I might mess up the group energy. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So you won't mess up the energy, because what happens is that everyone connects to one group energy, and you'll be supported by all the other people in the group. So you'll be held in a very loving way, so you can go much deeper into the issues. And you'll be held in such a way that you go to some places you couldn't normally get to. Okay, that's why we do it in groups. The healing power of a group is enormous. It's not just learning how to do it, it's actually in a healing intensive. So you have 4 days, 6 hours a day, or 4 1.5 hour sessions approximately per day. You'll be in a healing intensive. So, and we'll be guided by higher consciousness to go in the order through the 26 charts you just saw in the index there, that will work for everyone. So eventually, whatever you bring to the group will be cleared. A big layer of it will be cleared, or maybe all of the issue, depends how big or small it is. It's different for each person, but you'll go on your own unique healing journey. And the way we teach the group is that I demonstrate that I explain the chart, the theory, that's experiential learning. Then if it's a simple chart, I'll just do the command codes on you, just like I'm doing now, but I'll explain more, obviously. But if it's a more complex chart, I'll demonstrate on one of you. It's theory, demonstration. Then you go into Zoom breakout rooms, just two, you and a partner, and you'll give and receive the treatment.
Okay.
So you'll get all the treatments, and you'll get the right person who's going to be able to hold space for you or mirror to you whatever you need. And it's all by divine design. So you don't have to worry, Lauren, your higher self's got this organized. It's got you this far. So just follow the flow and it will all unfold. So whatever you bring will be addressed to a greater or lesser degree. It just depends. Obviously, some life, if you've got PTSD, I had PTSD. That takes quite a while to sort. But there is a chart in there that will give you another tool for trauma. Okay.
Yeah.
Level 2 has an even more powerful one, but you'll be fine because the higher self will organize it in such a way it'll be safe. You'll go to some deep places, as some of you have already gone this evening, but you'll get what you need.
Okay, thank you.
Main thing is to have clear intention of where you want to go.
Okay.
So we circulate through all those charts, and eventually we'll get through all of them over 4 days, and you'll be quite transformed. You'll pop out of the divine healing bubble which you're held in, and you'll be quite different. You'll feel quite different if you've given everything you've got, because what you put in, you get out of this.
Yeah,
And
that sounds amazing. Thank you.
You get a gift from each person you work with, because they will be able to hold the space, see you in a certain way, and get to things that you were unimaginable. Because, as I said, the ego can't stand on its own shoulders, but it's obvious to someone else what the program is, whereas we have a blind spot usually to most of our programs.
Yeah.
So it's a very strong learning experience. And
thank you so much.
Does that help? Vicky.
I just wanted to add for Lauren that when I did the training last June, I had a huge fear of a real core issue coming up around trauma, which I was kind of trying to, feeling like I needed to suppress, that I didn't want to actually, I didn't want to surface in the group, because it's that feeling of, worrying about feeling safe, or even expressing that to people in the group. But it was actually amazing, because it was, I had the perfect person in the breakout room to go through the session with me, and and I had a real profound transformation of it. So really don't worry, because I really had those same fears when I was on the course.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Okay, so any other questions on that? On the chat, there's no other new ones there. Okay, so that's the basic structure of the course. For those of you who've got kids, so Tara, it's approximately an hour and a half. We start at 12:30 UK time, 7:30 Eastern time, because it's to cover California or Oregon. You're in Oregon, aren't you, Lauren?
Washington.
Washington, close enough.
Close enough.
Close enough. So it's 4:30 for you, but most people used to fly. But then we go to 8:30 at night UK time, which is 9:30 in the evening in Europe. So I'm trying to cover the whole Western Hemisphere, which is why we do the time we do. So yeah, it's about an hour and a half, 20-minute break, another hour and a half, 20-minute break, another third hour and a half. Then we have a meal break. So that'll be about 12:31 Eastern, Tara. It varies depending on when a given session finishes. Then we do the last hour and a half.
Yeah, it's
So
plenty of notice, so I'm going to plan it to make sure that I don't have to. The kids are taken care of, so all my focus could be.
Yeah, it's better that they're with your partner or parents or whatever, so you can best get on with it. Otherwise, your attention is going to be split.
Yeah, it's plenty of notice, so it's not a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions there on the chat about the course? No? Okay, so I will show you one more slide about this. So if you feel drawn to it, to really heal deeply, completely and easily, okay, to become the empowered master of your life, it's not obviously going to happen in one course, but it's going to give you tools to start to move towards that. My life's changed so radically since I learned this. I was highly dysfunctional with a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder. It's the tool that's helped me. It's not for everybody, but it's if you're drawn, you're drawn. So we run a four full days, 24 to 27 June. So UK, it is 12:30 to 8:30. Try and get my pen up. UK time, 7:30 to 3:30 Eastern. Pacific time is 4:30 to 12:30. In Europe, 1:30 to 9:30. Okay. We record the whole thing on Zoom. The recordings are only for you to use. They'll be password protected. It will not be turned into a product. So you'll be able to look at them again for bits you didn't quite catch the first time. The deposit to secure your place is $175, about $220, $230 US. That comes out of the full fee, which is £520 or about $650 US. And you can find out more about it at the divinehealingtraining.com. I think you've had a good direct experience, so you've got a good idea what it is. If you seriously want to do some work on yourself, this fee is only equivalent to about 5 hours working with me directly when I used to do sessions. So it's a deal really, because you can clear 80% of your issues yourself. Then the other 20%, you can have another practitioner help you with those, because some core ego construct programs we can't actually clear ourselves because it's the very core structure of who we are. But it's actually, I reckon, from my own experience, the most cost-effective way of actually healing and getting on with our mission and getting on with our life. So it's there if you feel drawn, if the spiritual signature is there. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. Anything else, people, you want to ask? Goes well with soul contract, Lauren O'Malley, because soul contract, which you're coming on training next week, basically tells you the map, spiritual map of your life, of what the programs are. And divine healing is the tool for clearing the pathway to get on with the contract.
Yeah, I was thinking that I had to really consciously not just choose numbers from my contract when you were telling us to choose goals, and be like, don't do that, let the number come.
Yeah, it's about letting go. So the very act of trusting the number mapping is about trusting the flow of spirit. Because if you let go and realize you are not actually in charge but higher consciousness, then your life will open, because the mind only gets it right about 50% of the time. Okay, when doing
and
this
it's
work.
interesting still, the number that I chose, I do think kind of has a connection to my physical karma. So it's not the same numbers, but the word still, I can see that connection in it.
Well, yeah,
so.
well, you'll see that what comes up is you relate it very consciously to what you're actually working on with a soul contract. So
yeah.
Yeah. Tara, were you waving at the air or going to ask me a question?
I had something in my eye.
Okay. All right.
I was going like
Okay. Patsy, thank you very much. Much gratitude for this insight in space today. Thanks for coming, Pat, and Maggie, who are in the attendees room. If there's nothing else, we'll finish here, and the video will go out in a couple of days once we've rendered it, so you can see it again if you need to. And hopefully we'll see some of you. It looks like we are going to see some of you, and yeah, I hope that was helpful. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Hey.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicolas.
Okay,
Thank you,
take care.
everyone.
Just
Thank
bye.
you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.